I used to think daydreaming was a waste of time. I remember at school seeing friends being reprimanded for their daydreaming and being made to feel like there was something wrong with them. But now I see it can actually be a sort of superpower. It's something I rarely do, but I was at a business conference yesterday, would you believe? And the speaker inspired me to really think about daydreaming in a totally new light. Perhaps it was just what I needed to hear because, as it happens, yesterday we were journaling about how we connect with ourselves. And I think journaling and letting our minds wander is potentially a really powerful way to do that. So if you want to do some writing, I have a little prompt for us. So if you want to grab your journal or just a pen and paper, we'll get started. Recall a recent daydream that left a strong impression on you. Write about what this daydream might reveal about your hidden desires, fears, or aspects of yourself that you haven't fully acknowledged yet. I like the idea that daydreaming is like a window into our subconscious, and I can see why it's actually really important for us to build in time regularly to let our thoughts and our minds just wander. I said before that I rarely daydream, but in fact, actually, in the mornings, so I don't have an alarm clock unless I need to be up for something really important, like yesterday getting the train. I like to just wake up naturally, and then when I do wake up, I love to just lie in bed for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and I let my mind wander. And I feel like whatever's been happening in my brain at night time, working away on all of the thoughts, I feel like sometimes that's when I have my best ideas, or like these like epiphanies where I'm like, oh my gosh, and I make a connection with something, or I have an idea that I'm like, that's perfect, that's exactly what I need to do. And yeah, so is that daydreaming? I'm not sure. I know at that time in the morning when you're kind of between the sleep state and the wake state, you've got like special brain waves. So I like to maximize those special brain waves in the morning because they're really powerful. I think getting into, I guess it's like a meditative state, isn't it? So things that you can do that help you to get into a meditative state are probably a good thing. I guess with daydreaming, you always imagine this kind of stereotypical, like staring off into the window sort of classic pose, but maybe what this is making me think is daydreaming can be whatever you want it to be, in terms of how you do it and how you feel the benefit of that. So in your writing, if you're a bit like me and you're like, oh, I don't daydream, maybe have a think about those times when maybe you are daydreaming and you don't realize it, or maybe there's things that you do regularly, things in your day where you could build in a bit of daydreaming and carve out that time for it regularly. I'd love to know, are you naturally a daydreamer? Because I'm quite in awe. I've spoken to a few people now over the last day, and yes, just really fascinating how our brains work. Maybe you got into trouble as a child at school for your daydreaming, and yeah, has that changed how you feel about daydreaming? So I hope that you see it in a positive light, because yeah, it's amazing how our brains work, isn't it? So yeah, just something a bit different. I guess it builds on what we were talking about yesterday, which is nice, and just really a weird coincidence given, how I was feeling yesterday. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have some beautiful plans for the day. I am off to a college board meeting, so yeah, I think my brain is going to be a bit frazzled by the end of the day, but I love giving back, and I think that it's a really valuable role that I play there at the college. So yeah, have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for some more journaling.